Some DIYs become part of everyday life, and that's exactly what today's video is all about. I am sharing beautiful functional projects that still make my home and even my craft room more organized, more beautiful, and easier to enjoy years later. Hi, I'm Loli. Let's create something beautiful and find a little joy along the way. I used two of these summer signs from Dollar Tree, and I completely sanded off all the glitter off of them. It had lots and lots and lots of glitter. So if you can avoid yourself some trouble and just get yourself some of the signs that have no glitter, that will make your life a lot easier. Thank God I had my little vacuum to help me there. So once that was done, I butted my signs bottom to bottom, and I'm taking paint stir sticks to secure them together. The first thing that I did is set up the perimeter. I'm going to completely frame this using the paint stir sticks and some popsicle sticks in the middle. There I changed it in the middle later on. I ended up putting more paint stir sticks and also popsicle sticks there in the middle. But for now, I am framing the entire perimeter. And what I did, I just lined up the paint stir sticks on the sides and then cut pieces to fit in between those at the top and bottom in the middle of the two other stir sticks. You'll see in a second, I believe, you will see an angle. Here, guys, I added my hanger prior to. The idea was to encase them there to give it a little bit of security by doing that. But I totally forgot to add beads to my jute cord, and that was my idea from the get-go. So you'll see me later fix that. But for now, here I'm just setting up the entire frame here, and pretty much that's what I did, just marking the places where I need to cut. I used my miter shears to help me with this. It was hard. I think I need to change my blade. I gotta figure out how to do that. And then I'm just placing it, in the little ends there. Just, I don't know, just going with it. Here you can see my idea of enclosing the jute cord on there, but it didn't work out. Once all my pieces were set up and cut, now I'm going to come in with some of this Loctite wood glue that I found at Dollar Tree. I was so excited when I found that, guys. So what I'm doing is I'm adding hot wood glue and some of this wood glue to each piece and positioning it right back in the places where they belong. Here's where I decided to add the other paint stir sticks to the middle as well. I just had one piece there, and then I took a full paint stir stick and cut it in half to create 3 of them, and I'm just gluing them the same way I did the others. And I added the popsicle sticks in between of those. And now that we have a solid structure, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and prep for painting. So remember I told you about the beads? I was trying to remedy the problem by just cutting the jute cord there, adding the beads and tying it together. And I did that. I said, no, that should be fine, no big deal. Guys, I'm OCD. It did not, I didn't like the way it looked, and I just, I tried it to try to not be so OCD about it, and it's not a big deal. Later on I changed it, but anyway. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take some of that lightweight spackle from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put it right in between that joint. I did 2 coats of it. I did one, let it dry, did another. Then after it dried, I sanded it down. Then I painted it all white. Now I'm coming in with these 2 sticks of pieces of wood from Dollar Tree. I used 2 of them, measured them, and I went in my saw and cut them. Then I took them and painted them with my folk art rich black paint. These pieces will be going in the top and bottom of my project. So after I painted it, I put more spackle and then sanded it down again and then touched up the white once again. Now we are going to go back to that hanger, guys. It was bothering me so bad. Yeah, I didn't like it. So I removed it from there, and I'm going to use my drill to re-drill those holes and put holes on the stir sticks that I put in the back there. So, but first I'm going to touch up that paint where I added that spackle, and while that dries, I'm going to work on this little crate. I painted it using my antique wax from Waverly. So here I am actually drilling the holes that I told you about to redo my hanger. Guys, I'm leaving all this in so you see the struggles that we go through. Is, you know, just because we're in camera doing it doesn't mean we don't go through struggles. We do too. So here you go. This is just a little teaching moment for myself, and then giving you, you know, an example of what things can go wrong. And with me, something always goes wrong. All right, so I created my hanger again using another piece, and now I'm adding it to the new holes, and I am satisfied. However, I left some jute cord enough to be able to now attach that black piece of wood that I showed you earlier on top of that jute cord, and now we have that security as well, and that is hidden in between the 2 boards, and I love it how this turned out. Now we're gonna work on the bottom. This one was easy peasy lemon squeezy. Added my wood glue, my wood hot glue, and put it on there. Just be very careful here that you're putting it leveled. Now that this crate has dried, I'm going to glue it right there on the bottom as well. Same thing, combination of the 2 glues. I want this to last forever. Then I went to my Cricut and created this lovely little clock. This, guys, I made this project for myself before I started my channel, and my husband has been bothering me, telling me, listen, you did this such a good job with this one, you need to make more and sell them. So this is my second one. I am listening to him, and there you go. Here you see that I did add this a little bit lopsided. I don't know if you notice, my OCD brain does notice it. It bothers me. My husband says he can barely notice it. I don't know. But I just, I drilled a hole onto where the middle of where the little hands that the clock's supposed to be, and took one of these clock mechanisms that I ordered that I ordered a while ago from Amazon, and I'm going to add it right in there. I just put it in the back, and it comes with all the pieces. I tended it using my needle nose pliers. Oh my God, I can't talk today, guys. I'm sorry. Now I'm adding the little hands of my clock on there. It's so easy to set this up, guys. Don't get intimidated with this. It is easy peasy. I just added that, added the second one. The secret is to make sure that your needles are straight and they don't touch each other, so they're able to pass each other as the clock is running. And lastly, I'm adding the second hand. Making sure that everything goes in circle properly. We are going to go ahead and add a battery on, just testing things out, making sure that it works before I do anything else. And it does. I did not like how long the second hand was, so I just trimmed it a little with my scissors. And here we go. It is working. Now I took this metal piece that says welcome. I took it off of that windmill, and that home sign, painted it with my Waverly antique wax. And I'm going to glue it right there on my piece. This is going to be going closest to the crate. Then I took the welcome sign and I'm adding E6000 to all 4 corners of it, and some hot glue for the instant hold.
This is metal. You know, hot glue don't really like metal too much, so the E6000 should hold it in place in the long run. Now I'm adding some of this floral foam to the inside of my crate. Just adding some hot glue to make it stay in place. For here, guys, if you want to use this to put other things in, you can skip this part. I want to put some greenery on here. So I'm going to use this greenery I got from Dollar Tree. I'm using 2 bunches of it. I cut it into the individual stems, and I'm just going to first put some Spanish moss on there to cover the floral foam. And then I'm going to add my stems into my crate. Guys, as I'm doing this, I am so excited. I can't wait for you guys to see this piece. I am in love. This one came out so much cuter than the first one. This project I'm going to put to sell. So I want to cover the back. I wish I would have done this before I added the crate, because it made it a little bit harder to do it. But I got it done anyway, and I should have done it also before I put the other stuff. But anyway, then I took some of these mushrooms that I got at Dollar Tree, and I painted 4 of them actually. The first time you saw 3, I actually decided to do 4, and I'm going to use them as pegs on this piece. So I drill holes in each one of the pegs, and now I'm drilling holes on the bottom wood piece of the project. I took a long, skinny wood screw from Home Depot, actually from Lowe's, and I'm screwing that through the entire piece until the peg or the little mushroom, whatever we're gonna call it, we're gonna call them peg from now on, were attached. I repeated that with both ends, and there was some places in which I had a hard time tightening it. I just took a needle down plier and tightened it up. Now here I'm measuring the places where I want to put the other 2 pegs, and I wanted to make sure that they were spaced correctly and they were centered correctly. So here you see me doing a second measure before I drilled. Then once I was happy with it, I drilled my holes and attached my pegs just like I did with the previous 2. And here you see all 4 done. Now I'm going to touch up with a little bit of black to cover those white markings I did there and clean up this piece. Here it is. Oh my goodness. This one is so cute, guys. I wish I could have taken a bit of picture of it and see it in its grandeur. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? It is functional and pretty. Let me know what you guys think. We will be using 2 of these pizza pans from the Dollar Tree. I take some of my Rust-Oleum linen white and their chalk paint, and I give them 2 nice coats. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to put them to the side and stain my wood pieces. This is some little Christmas trees from the Dollar Tree, and this beads also from the Dollar Tree. So the first thing I do is measure the amount of beads that I will need to completely cover the end of my pizza pan there, and I cut off any excess that I might have. And make sure that both ends are nicely tight and tied in so the beads do not come apart. And then I take a little Ziploc baggie and add some of my steel color Waverly chalk paint into the mixture, but I make sure to water it down a little bit so it's more of a stain more than instead of a paint. Make sure that I mix it all together, and I'm also going to add some of my Waverly antique wax as well to the same mixture, because I wanted to have like this feeling of barnwood or weathered wood that's been outside. So I always notice it has like a tint of gray and brown, so I'm trying to achieve that effect there. And I just water it down so it's easier for the beads to absorb it. And I find it easier to be this way by doing it in the little Ziploc baggie. Here I'm adding a little bit more of the steel color chalk paint and a little bit more of the antique wax as well, because I want it to be enough mixture to cover up my beads and the little Christmas trees as well. So I added my beads first, make sure that my bag was sealed properly, and I'm shaking it to make sure to saturate all of the beads. And then I open it up and I take some of the air out. Apparently I needed a little bit more gray. I think it was getting a little bit too brown there, so I added a little bit more to make sure that everything was covered. I didn't want to have too much paint left over. I don't like wasting materials, so I added what I needed, watered it down. The antique wax was a little bit thick there, so it was a little bit harder to get it done. And once I got it to the color that I wanted, again I went and shaked it, making sure to rub the beads, that all the color gets to every little angle and every nook and cranny of the beads. And then I opened it up, double check how it's looking, and I'm removing some of the air so I can actually rub the beads into the paint to make sure that the coverage is throughout the whole thing. Once I'm pretty satisfied with it, I took it out and laid it out to dry, and now I'm going to add 4 of my little Christmas trees here because I want to have them match. I want them to be the same color, so I added my 4 little Christmas trees there and did the same process, just shaking and rubbing until they are completely covered with the mixture of paint, antique wax, and water. Just make sure I take them all out, and it's much easier when you don't use so much paint to just have them fall out like that, and you don't have this huge blob of paint or water. So then I use my heat gun to dry them. The little Christmas thingies were going all over the place, so I make sure everything was dry. And while that's on the side, I'm going to prepare the surface to add my beads to the pizza pan. So here I put the pizza pan towards the bottom, and actually this step was supposed to not be done until the end, but I was so excited to put feet on this apparently. But if you're doing this, I recommend doing this step last after you put all the other things together first. But for some reason I did it first, so anyway. And here what I did, I just put a little dab of E6000 and a dab of hot glue and attached it and put it to the side while I worked on the rest of the DIY here. So what I did, I put my pizza pan face down. I added E6000 on that little ridge in between the bottom of the pan and the little edge there. And I added my beads close to each other with the hole facing the pizza pan. I did that all along the entire pizza pan, and making sure not to leave any spaces. I wanted to make sure that the beads didn't have weird spaces in between, because when I was done, what I did was add hot glue to the space in between the bottom of the pizza pan and the bead in the inside. And in order to do this the best, you will need to hold the beads in place as you're applying the glue to avoid them running away from your pan. And make sure you don't burn yourself with this step. And this is what it looked like when I was done. And now it is time to protect all my surface areas. So here what I'm doing is adding some Mod Podge to my surface, because this is going to be holding different things on there. So you can tell probably by now this is a riser. So I want to make sure that the surface is protected, that I can put whatever I like in this riser. So I make sure to put a generous amount, and I did this with both the front, the back. I did it everywhere. I wanted this to be a piece that will last forever. So I make sure I protected all the surfaces. And now I am adding E6000 to the one where I put the feet and putting the other one right on top of it. And I'm using these clamps that I got during summertime. They're really plant clamps, but I think they were perfect for this DIY. So just to help this sit and dry overnight, because I put only E6000, I did not put any hot glue. I wanted this to last for a while, so I did that. And once I was done, this is what my little riser looked like. I really, really, really love the contrast of the two colors, the white and the antique or like barnwood-like beads. And I put it on this little lantern that I made in a previous DIY. on it and it looks gorgeous. I am so satisfied with this, guys. It's awesome. I hope you enjoyed this DIY and I hope it was helpful to you.
I used 2 more of the arrows from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use 3 of the dowel rods as well. The first thing that I did was find a drill bit that was the same size of my dowel rods. Just make sure that it was. And I'm going to take the arrows and just remove everything off of them. The jute cords, staples, and the tags. Guys, if you guys don't have a staple remover, this is a game changer. Get yourself one. It will make your life a lot easier. Take it from me. Then I made sure that everything matched up, and then I'm going to go ahead and sand off all the edges to have these arrows be nice and finished. After checking for smoothness, I made sure that they were nicely matched, that they were at the same level. And I'm going to go ahead and tape them together. And I taped it off in the top and the bottom of the arrows. Then I took 2 of my paints and that were the same level, and I just placed my arrows on there. This is just to have a raised surface in which I can drill. And guys, don't worry here, I was very careful. The angle in the camera makes it look like I'm very close to the paintbrushes, but I really am not. And my hands are out of harm's way as well. Just be very careful on here. I just wanted to make sure that my holes were completely level for both pieces, just to avoid myself any heartache at the end. Then I sanded down the openings of the holes I just drew, and I'm double checking to make sure that my dowel rods fit in there. And once I did the ends, I'm going to try to find my middle. I didn't measure, I should have. I just winged it here, but it was close enough. So I just, drilled an extra hole on the middle so I can add a third dowel rod on there. Then I remove my tape, and I'm going to go ahead and separate my arrows and go ahead and take my dowel rods, and I'm going to paint them using my apple barrel white paint. I just gave it a very messy white coat. I didn't want them to be perfectly white. I wanted a whitewash look. Then I mixed another batch of the aquamarine color with some white, and I'm going to take the arrow portion of my DIY and do that whitewash, well, actually green wash in this case, of them. Once everything was dry, I'm going to go ahead and add my dowel rods. Some of the paint got inside of some of the holes, so I just used a skewer to clear it off, and I sanded it down in places where I needed to sand it down. And then I'm going to go ahead and position my dowel rods on one side of my arrows, making sure that it's a nice tight fit. You can also go ahead and put some glue in one end if you like, but I didn't put any glue at all because I'm going to be using this to be attaching to different things. I might have to take the dowel rods in and out, so I didn't want them to be fixed. And if you do want one side fixed, just only glue one side, not the other. All right, so the one side was nice and secure. I took the other side and I'm wedging the dowel rods into the other hole, and I'm going to just put them in one side, and I'm going to tack it down a little bit, and this is how it ended up. This, guys, is my favorite thing I have done for my craft room. It is so versatile and it is so handy. It holds just the right amount of ribbon or washi tape. Let me know how you like it. I'm going to use 4 of these little drawers that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use some tumbling tower blocks. I wanted to use these brown ones because I liked how the contrast between the two colors went, but you can use whatever color. If you like to paint it a different color, it's completely up to you. Then I took some wood hot glue, and I'm going to use it to attach the tumbling tower blocks to that little ledge there in the side of the little drawers there, and they fit perfectly there. So I'm going to use that to attach one next to it. So I added some more hot wood glue onto this, and I'm going to put the other little drawer onto the other one, creating 2 of these. So I did this twice, and then once I was done, I'm going to add the wood hot glue at the top seam of each one of the bottom drawers, so I'm able to stack the other 2 securely on top of that. And guys, this is so simple. This is pretty much it. I just put some pressure on it, let it dry, and just like that, you have a little place to put all your trinkets, like the little bees and the little tumbling tower blocks or other things. You can put, well, anything you want right here. Look how cute that turned out. And you can make it as big as you like, as tall as you like. It's lovely. I love it. I have mine filled already. I had to make another one. I hope you guys liked it. 2 of these arrows that I found at Dollar Tree. I removed all the stickers on the jute cord and the staples out of them. And I'm going to just go ahead and take some wood glue. And I'm going to use the wood glue and some wood hot glue to attach 2 of these crates from the Dollar Tree as well to those angles there on the piece. Once I knew exactly where I wanted to glue them, I added some wood hot glue to the surface there, and then I'm going to come in and use some wood hot glue as well to have that instant hold. Honestly, I should have just glued the other crate to the same arrow, but I guess I wasn't thinking at that time, and I just added the other arrow to here, and I added to the crate, creating the hold on the one crate. Then I came in with a second crate, and I'm going to go ahead and measure exactly where I'm going to put the crate. I just placed it in place, took a color pencil and traced where they fit, and then I just added hot glue and wood glue to both the sections there, and then I added my crate. It worked out okay, but if I were to do this again, I would have attached both crates to one of the arrows first and then attach the second arrow. But everything turned out okay regardless. So once everything was glued on, I took some of this aquamarine paint from Apple Barrel and I mixed in some water with it, and I'm going to just do a wash of this paint on the entire piece. Friends, if you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe and comment and share with your friends so they're also able to see my content. All this helps. It signals YouTube to send my content to other people so my channel grows. Thank you so much in advance for your support. And here it is. Look at that. A whole 16 Apple Barrel paint, which is perfect for your most used paint colors. Let me know how you like it. I love it and use it every. I'm going to use one of these cans that I got from my stash, and I'm going to paint it white. And then I'm going to use my Key West. Yes, I think it's Key West, the color that I use for all these DIYs. And I'm just going to give it one nice big coat of that. And I'm going to let it dry. Friends, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please consider doing so. It is free and it means the world to me. All right, now that the paint is nice and dry, I'm going to take the same tissues or napkins actually that I used before. I'm going to cut a portion that is, about 2/3 of the can, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to Mod Podge it to the part that is corrugated. I just put a nice healthy coat of Mod Podge, and I'm going to go ahead and place my napkin right on that portion, making sure that it is nice and straight. I am using the circle, so the corrugated section there, as a ruler to make sure that everything is in place. Then I put another healthy amount of Mod Podge on top of the napkin. I want this to ply around the can and show the corrugated part, so I want the napkin to fall into the grooves nicely and attach to the surfaces pretty well as well. When I'm getting to the bottom section, I just make sure to bring that completely down. I want this to be nice and adhered on the edges, so I just make sure to put that down with the Mod Podge as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut a smaller section of napkin to put in that section that I had there some missing, just to complete the full thing around the can. I just pretty much just added a healthy amount of Mod Podge, added it onto the napkin as well as on the can section, and I'm just going to place it right down, trying to keep everything nice and straight. And I'm going to put more more Mod Podge in the top of this also, just saturating it, I can't speak today, guys. Saturating it good enough that it will go into those grooves, and this will look like it's part of this can and not something that I just added to it. And for some reason, matte Mod Podge does leave some kind of shine, so I added it to the portion that I didn't use any paper on, just to make sure that I have a nice even surface with the same finish. Once all the Mod Podge dried, I took a sandpaper and I'm going to just go ahead and sand off that extra portion at the bottom, and I'm going to just remove that paper from there very carefully, making sure not to rip anything, just taking my time with the nail file there. I like this nail file for this kind of stuff. It just works a lot better than the sand block. But I just did that, being very careful. And if I have to say so myself, guys, this turned out so cute. I love it. Look at it. and it's functional and it goes perfectly with all my other, craft DIYs that I created. And I don't know, I love it. You guys let me know how you like it. And so far, which one is your favorite? For the next DIY, we'll be using another wood rounds from Dollar Tree. If you're not able to find these at Dollar Tree, Temu also carries them pretty inexpensively. I will be linking my Temu storefront in the description box below if you'd like to purchase it from them. So I removed the tags and the hangers you see there. And now we are going to paint it with this Key West color from Apple Barrel. I gave it one coat. Then I'm going to use this to move around instead. But I thought that this one was a little too bright and I don't know, I didn't like the contrast. I was looking for a softer feel for this wood round here. So I'm going to first come in with a coat of this white paint from Dollar Tree. This, guys, it barely has any coverage. So I just going to do a light coat over it with this color. And then I ended up doing a light coat over this color with the green as well, thinning it out a little bit, just to tone down these colors a bit. It looks like I'm completely covering it up here, but as this color dries, you will see how translucent it is. I brought in the board just to see how it would look like. It looks all right, but I was still going for a softer transition between these two colors. So I came in at this point with the Key Lime or the Key West color from Apple Barrel, and I did a thin coat over that, and that toned it a lot down. And it just seemed like it was a better fit with this color. I'm using this color because this is the color that I have throughout my entire craft room. So I want to make sure that everything is cohesive. As I'm adding this color in, you will see me dipping my brush into water. That's what I'm doing off camera there, just to be able to blend this and make it more translucent. And I just kept doing that until I was happy with the amount of paint that I had on here. Once it dried, of course, I can see the letters a lot better. You can see here that you can barely see them. But once I dry that paint, you'll be able to see through them, and that super strong blue color will not be showing no longer. It will be looking a little bit softer, and it will take more of the tone of this green. As I'm drying this, you can see how the lettering and the pattern is starting to come through. And here it was a little bit too opaque for me, so I'm coming back in with that wet brush one more time, trying to blend it in and thin out the paint just a little bit more, because I did want this to show a bit more, and I want also the details of the flowers and everything that was there before to show through as well. At this point, I'm satisfied how it's looking, so I'm going to just attach it with some hot glue. Being very careful not to burn my fingers and my hand as I'm pressing this down, because this round is actually metal. Then I'm going to take one of these hoops from Dollar Tree and removing that tag, of course, and we are going to paint this with agave from Waverly. And that's going to be framing it like this. But before we position that, this frame will be covering those holes. So first I took the leftover garland that I had earlier that we are using as hanger, and I just positioned it onto the wood round. Then I added hot glue to the entire perimeter of the wood round using a high heat or high temperature glue gun. So I'm able to position this nicely before that hot glue dries. If you use a regular or a low temp glue gun, do this in smaller sections. Then I positioned this right in place, pressed it down until it was completely adhered. Then I took this piece of burlap ribbon that I had left over from a different bow, and I'm going to create a bow with this. I'm just going to loop it as you see there, and then scrunch it in the middle, and then tie it right there in the middle using a piece of jute cord. For this round, I decided to add the bow right there, right above of that circle. And I'm going to position the bow first, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to just leave it as this or if I was going to do any greenery. So I attached my bow first, put it exactly in the center, trying to center it together with the hanger. Then I decided that I did want to put some greenery, and I chose this rosemary looking greenery from Dollar Tree. It has little flowers at the end, and I'm going to take one of each of those pieces. I bent the picks as you see there, so it will be draping as I position it in the back of my bow. I did that with both sides, but then it went opposite directions. Then I just added a little bit of hot glue behind the bow and pressed that stem against it until it dried, repeating this process on the other side as well. And you think I'm done, right? I'm not done yet. I'm going to take another piece of the same burlap ribbon. I'm going to create a loop that's a little bit smaller. I decided to make this a double bow instead. As I'm looking at it now, as I'm doing the voiceover for this video, I'm thinking to myself, I could have just put, something that I'm going to be putting next here or think of putting here next instead of giving it another loop to this bow. But, I got to trust the creative process here at this time. I thought this was a good idea. So I'm going to just add my bow right on there. Another option would have been to not add this bow and instead add that flower that I put on there. There's so many options, guys, and so many ways that you can do this. So if you do this, make it your own, do the best you can with what you have, and, just trust the creative process. Here I'm taking this pick that I got from Walmart. I don't know, in the 1980s, I guess. I'm not sure when. I had this in my stash for a while. So I'm just going to add it as I did in the other side, one on top of the other one, just to mix in a bit of color. I wanted to bring a pop of color to contrast with that green. And I did the same thing with the other side. And then I added the burlap flower in the middle of the bow. And that burlap flower came from Dollar Tree as well. And here it is, all completed. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think about this one? And here it is without the flower. Let me know, what do you prefer, with or without the flower? These panels from Dollar Tree, they are new, and I removed those tags off of them. And then I took some lightweight spackle from Dollar Tree and filled in the indentation with a flower or dandelion, I'm not sure what that is, was on there. I'm just making sure that everything is nice and flat. And I removed also the jute cord and filled in the holes using spackle as well. And once the spackle dried, I used some of my white Black & Decker paint and primer and covered both panels. Now I'm coming in with my Folk Art Rich Black, and I am painting the little sections that look like hardware right on there. I started with the front, and then I took a very tiny and fine paintbrush and painted the sides as well of that little piece. And I repeated this with all four of those areas. Here you can see how I'm using the very fine tip brush to fill in that, just to give this more of a realistic look. And here they are. Look how cute they look, guys. Adorable. All right, now I'm going to take these paint stir sticks that I got from Lowe's. I used a pack and then I used one extra. Here I just cut 3 pieces and I painted them using my Rich Black from Folk Art. And now I'm going to take these and set them up on here. I don't know if you can tell already what I'm going to make, but I hope you love it, because this right now, guys, is my pride and joy. So I took 2 of the paint stir sticks and put them at the ends, as you see there. And I'm placing the panels on each side, making sure that that hardware piece are looking in opposite sides in order to create what I'm looking for here. So excited, guys. Anyway, the third piece of paint stir stick, I position it in the middle. And I'm going to take a combination of wood glue and wood hot glue to attach the panels to the paint stir sticks. Then I took the 4th paint stir stick and I'm measuring exactly how much I need. I marked it, and then I went back to my saw and cut it, and I came back and painted it black. Now I'm going to attach it to the middle. So I put it in the bottom of my piece there, and I'm going to use a combination of
hot glue, hot wood glue, and regular wood glue to attach this piece. Too bad that I don't have 3 hands, otherwise I would have held that other piece in the middle. I would suggest using a clamp. I didn't. And then I had to glue it again later on. Anyway, here I'm taking 2 of these crates from Dollar Tree. I removed the tags, and I'm going to take some regular wood glue and some hot wood glue and attach these 2 together. Then I took some of my black folk art paint and I'm going to add it to the creases of my crates. Then I took my white, black, and Decor paint and primer and I'm adding it to the front, insides, and sides of the crate. I am going to make sure not to get any of that paint in the creases that I just painted black. But at the same time, I am blending it in as the other paint was still a bit wet. Once it's dried, I am going to glue it to my paint, as you see there, using some hot glue and some wood glue. Both of these glues are wood. One is hot, one is regular. I added the crates to the bottom of the piece and held it in place until the hot wood glue dried. Now I'm going to come in with some of this floral foam from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue it into each one of my little crates, as you see there, making sure that they will flush at the bottom so it will adhere properly. Then I took some of these florals from Dollar Tree. They are red sunflowers. I love these. The color is just gorgeous. I'm going to cut them individual little stems, as you see there, and we are going to add them to our floral foam, just adding them in a zigzag pattern. Then I took these yellow florals from Dollar Tree as well, and I'm going to cut them into individual little pieces of flower and put them in between of my red sunflowers. I absolutely love the contrast between these two. Then I took some of these boxwood from Dollar Tree and I'm going to add them in between the flowers as well. I love how these look fall-like, like leaves change in color. I absolutely love them. I added the entire pick of these, filling in between. As you see there, I was playing with the placement to have a nice uniform feel of these. Then once I'm done with these, I'm going to come in with some more of these boxwood, but it's going to be red. I love this one too, guys. And I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut them into the individual pieces and add them in between as well. We're just putting them at different sections of where the other ones were. Just playing with it. I'm no florist. I just kept going and rearranging until I was happy with the result. And here I'm just sitting back contemplating my creation. I was satisfied with it, but I said, you know what? It's cute, but we need more. So I distressed the edges of my shutter using my black folk art paint. And that was it. Look at it. Let me know what you think. We are going to use 4 of these little window signs from Dollar Tree. Let's first of all take all the plastic off and get ready for our project. Since last year I was looking for these windows, I was lucky enough to find them at 2 of my Dollar Trees this year, so I'm pretty happy and excited to make this project. This project
I'll be also using some of the tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree to help me have a little bit more surface area when I put these panels together to form 4 different sides. Here I'm trying to figure out which way will be best to attach them together, to either do the 2 panels holding each other on the sides or from the inside. So once I got everything situated, I went ahead and started prepping my pieces to be attached together. I took the tumbling tower blocks and I wanted to attach them to the bottom part, since that was the area that had the most surface for me to attach them, and for the tumbling tower blocks did not show by the other end or from the outside of the lantern. I wanted to make sure that I put it where it will be hidden and also provide some stability to the walls of the lantern. I used the tumbling tower blocks and the pieces to figure out the spacing in between in order for the tumbling tower blocks to be able to touch the other area of the side panel that I'm attaching. So I found that to be the easy way. I am not a very big person of measurements, so I figured this was the easiest way to get it done. I attached some of the wood glue, the hot glue, onto the piece and then attach the tumbling tower block, ensuring that the 2 pieces met each other and that later on that tumbling tower block is going to be able to fit flushly together with the side piece. I repeated that with 2 of the side pieces until I had 2 pieces that had the 2 tumbling tower blocks in the bottom and 2 pieces that did not. Here I'm attaching the hot glue. I did a little bit on the little corner of the tumbling tower block where that other side panel would have touched it, and all along the piece that was on the table. In order to ensure that I had the best bond, I placed the hot glue in all the areas where the 2 pieces would have met and touched. You also need to make sure that the outside of the panels are flush with the other one, so you have, seamless corners. Attaching the last piece, it needs to be wedged between the 2 other pieces, so I made sure that I put hot glue onto the pieces that were there and very quickly place the other piece on top in order to wedge it in between. I just found it to be easier and safer this way, so I wouldn't get burned with the hot glue like I do seems like every single project that I do. The last 4 pieces are together. Now I'm removing these pieces. I wish I would have done this in the beginning, because it would have been a lot easier for me to take off these little stubborn pieces of glue that are left back once you remove that. So little scrapers that come in a 4-pack from the Dollar Tree. I used it to try to remove by scraping it off and making it flush with the rest of the plastic. Just be very careful when you're doing this to ensure that you're not gashing holes onto the plastic of the little area there that you will be using. Try to do it as flush as possible and try to remove only the glue. Right, I went ahead and I did a whole line of glue in all the joints there to make sure that this was as strong as it could possibly be. So I just make sure I put extra glue right in those little joints there. Waited for it to dry. Using some of my homemade chalk paint, I went ahead and did some dry brushing using one of the little cheapy brushes from the Dollar Tree. I did my painting using one direction strokes going sideways in every single area there, making sure that it was a light distressing. It was actually heavy distressing. It's because I wanted some of that gray color to show through the paint as well, but I did want this to have a brighter color. So we are doing a heavy distressing with the white, making sure that we get most of the areas and leave some of that gray peeking through. As you are doing this painting, just make sure that you are doing all the nooks and crannies in the same way, all in one direction. I repeated the same technique in the inside, and now it's time, once it dried, to seal in the paint. So I'm using some
of Rust-Oleum's white chalk paint. I'm sorry, not Rust-Oleum chalk paint, some Rust-Oleum clear coat to, here it is, to seal in all the paint to make sure that this has longevity. Once the piece dried, I brought it inside and I was trying to use this garland from the Dollar Tree. It looked cute, but it was kind of heavy. It was hard to maneuver through the pieces and weave them in and out, so I went with a different approach. This garland is new to the Dollar Tree. I got it last week. I never seen it before, and I like how full it is and it looks very realistic, and I also like how long it is. It was, in my opinion, a little bit easier to work with, and it gives this piece a fuller look. So here it is as I'm completing it. This part looks a little bit scanty, so I'm trying to, bring it out as much as I could and fill up this area so it looks cohesive with the rest. And this is how the greenery ended up looking on here. I went ahead and rested on one of my chargers, and I'm going to complete this with some candles. I love candles, guys. These are not real candles. These are battery operated remote lighting candles that I have throughout my house, and this is how it turned out. Let me know how you like.
We're going to start with the bathroom sign. First, I removed the hanger off of this wood round from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to do the same thing with the Temu wood round. At first, I thought I was just leaving the wood round as it is, but then I decided to actually paint it with some white paint. I chose to use the Dollar Tree paint because it gives you a whitewash look. Next, I took this hoop from Dollar Tree and I'm going to paint it with a mixture of different paints. I started with brown oxide from Apple Barrel. I added in some of the white that I used for the round earlier, and I mixed those two colors together. This was a little bit too light for what I was trying to achieve, so I added about 2 drops of burnt amber from Apple Barrel. I'm gonna mix that together, and then I ended up adding a little bit more white to the mixture. Then once that was nicely mixed, I'm going to use that mixture to completely cover the hoop. I just gave it one coat. Then I'm going to take some of my Waverly Antique Wax and I'm going to water it down at first, mix it nicely, and then brush it on top of this paint. I have found that layer in the paint in the matter in which I'm using it right now gives me the effect of that multi-tone wood, and that is what I'm trying to achieve with this hoop. After covering the hoop with the watered down antique wax, I came back in, adding some regular antique wax in different sections and creating brown streaks here and there to simplify the grooves of the grain of wood. Now I'm taking some chestnut from Apple Barrel and I'm also adding it to some areas here and there to bring in that reddish look to it as well. And then I came back on top of those areas and added some more antique wax, and I ended up with this beautiful look that looks like just stained wood. Now it's time to put it all together. I'm going to take my Temu round and glue it to the center of my white wood round. Then taking a beaded garland from Dollar Tree, I'm going to use it as my hanger. I just used the same twine that came with it. I just threaded some of those beads on it and tied it onto the wood round. Next, I'm going to take the hoop and add it right there to the middle as well, making sure that everything is nicely centered and that my sign is centered in the middle. And then I'm adding hot glue all around. I found that doing it in small areas was easier since the hot glue was drying up pretty quickly and not truly attaching this. You can also use some E6000 or some fixed all glue for this step. Just be very careful not to lift it too high up so that way you do not break it apart as you're trying to glue the next area. And use small amounts of hot glue so you have no seepage. And that is it for this piece. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think about this one? If you enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button so you're notified on future videos, and also hit the like button. That truly helps my channel grow by letting YouTube know that you're enjoying the content. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode, here are a couple more videos you are sure to enjoy. Thank you so much for stopping by. You're amazing. Bye.